Greetings, everyone. We are the Star Teachers, and we'd come to you today to talk to you a little bit about Greetings, everyone. We are the Star Teachers, and we've come to you today to address something that has been a constant refrain for several years, but indeed in the last few months and weeks has become quite a chorus in the global consciousness grid of your planet Earth. And that refrain is, there is so much evil in the world. How can we dispel it? How can I, as one person, make it better? Can we make it better? Are we just doomed as a species? Well, what we have to tell you is something that we've told you many times before over the years, and that is that you do this because if it weren't for what you do now, we would not exist. For we are, conceptually speaking, we are you in the future. We are you on a higher level of frequency. And because of what you do today, we eventually are created. We reach down through the layers of frequency to bring you encouragement and to remind you of just how powerful and infinite and wonderful you really are. And to give you the good news that you do jump over this hump, if you will, of negativity and violence and greed. And you do form a community, a planetary and cosmic community that meshes well with the rest of creation, which is how most of creation lives already. So how do you do this? A lot of people feel very helpless now because there are many wars, there's extreme poverty, there's a lot of pain and suffering in your world, and so much corruption. What we have to say to you may sound simplistic and cliche, and we've said it before, but we want to say it in a special way today. The way you change the world is to go within yourself and change the way you do things from ground zero. So everything is connected, and everything is an expression of creation, including you. You are the universe experiencing and expressing itself through one point of perception. And so is your friend over there, and that person across the ocean, and that being in outer space, and that other being in that dimension over there, and so on and so forth. But you're all connected. We are all connected. We are all part of the same construct, if you will. The way you change things in the most beneficial manner is to do it within yourself first. So to give an example, let's say you really are a person who considers themselves a social justice advocate, and you fight for social justice. What we have to say is the days of fighting, the efficacy of fighting are over. And in fact, it's never been the best way to respond to any sort of negativity. Fighting can sometimes stave off or lessen the suffering that's caused by a negative aspect, at least for a time, and it feels like you've won, but it always feeds the energy of negativity. And then it rears its ugly head again. That's why, wars are never won, really. So the way you do it is to start within yourself, and whatever you see in your immediate life, first in your life, and then in perhaps your home life with your family, your friends, your neighbors, your community, and so on and so on. Think about yourself as the bullseye of a target and work yourself out from within. So let's say that you are this social justice advocate and you absolutely abhor injustice of any kind. And it's such a big task to right wrongs like that. Like war crimes, for instance, um, or discrimination or cruelty to animals, whatever it is. Take a look at that and then go within yourself and get quiet and ask yourself, what exactly am I feeling that I'm against? Let's just take the poverty issue. I'm against countries or people fostering other people living in poverty and not helping. Okay? So that is, let's just label that the negative aspect. When you have a real good feel for what it is that you feel that you abhor or that is wrong, then ask yourself, what can I do within myself and in my scope of close relational life to overcome some sort of poverty? Maybe you can volunteer at a soup kitchen once a week. Maybe you can do fundraising for a food pantry. Maybe you can help work to build shelters for the unhomed in your neighborhood or in your city. Maybe you could just carry around a bag of apples and warm socks in your vehicle as you're driving to work every morning. And if you see someone who is unhomed or who needs food or warmth, offer them some of the things you're carrying. And I can hear your voices saying inside our head, but that doesn't fix the problem. It doesn't fix the whole problem, but it sets forth the momentum, a ripple effect of the energy that will fix the problem. You start at ground zero and then you move outward. And in fact, you may even ask yourself, what feels impoverished inside myself? Where do I feel lack? And really get honest with yourself and then try to alleviate that lack in some way. And we're not just talking about material wealth or creature comforts. We're talking about, maybe you feel impoverished in education, or you feel that you lack friendship or whatever. So what our message is, take whatever variable that feels negative in the world, no matter how large or small, insert it in this little space here and say, I notice this that feels negative to me, or I want to fix this variable. What is the opposite of that? And how can I take what is the opposite of that and turn it into a personal activity or action in my own life, in my own self, in my own neighborhood, in my own community? Again, if you are upset about poverty in the world, begin to do as much as possible in your own neighborhood, in your own family, in your own city, in your own country, to alleviate poverty, even if it's just helping one person one time. Because little things and big things have the same impact in the quantum field. And the good news is that whatever you do for others also affects you, and vice versa. So if you abhor a nation that tries to take over another nation, you might reduce that to the ridiculous and say that's bullying or that's, you know, violence or whatever. Go inside yourself and ask, where do I feel that aspect in myself? Do I judge myself harshly? Am I unkind to myself? Do I imprison myself in some way? And you work on that. But then take a look out your window or even in your own home and ask yourself, where do I see that kind of activity? And what can I do? If you see a person bullying another person, can you take right action? Maybe you can't do anything to the bully, but you can certainly do something nice for the person being bullied. Are we communicating? It's very simple. The universe, which is you, and all the other reflections of you, and please trust us, it's all you, including us, does not differentiate between big and small, past and future, this nation, that nation, this world, that world. It's all information. It's all energy. And how you work with that energy on a consistent and conscious basis is how you shift it to become more of what you prefer. Your world seems to be in chaos from your perspective. It feels like good humans are helpless to fight against the bad humans. Ideologies will never be able to come to coherence. But that's not true. Start with yourself first thing when you first wake up. Ask yourself if there's any aspect within yourself that needs to be balanced, and then do so. Send love unconditionally, forgive, be grateful for everything because it's all part of your learning and growth, which is part of our learning and growth, all of us. Bless it all, thank it all, and then ask yourself, how can I take right action to improve that which is not coherent with my soul, with the highest and the greatest and the most harmonious good? And then be quiet and still. And like a dry sponge, the ocean of existence, which is the quantum field, will begin to provide you with answers, with information. And then it's up to you to take right action with that. Finger pointing, blaming, constantly regurgitating whose fault is whose, about who started this war 3,000, 4,000 years ago, who took this person's land, who starved this person, whose great, 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 great grandparents provided evil and destruction on this group, and they're all still hating each other for it. Victims and perpetrators, they're all you. Bring them into balance by bringing yourself into balance first, internally, every day, as often as you can. And then take right action as often as you can in your own world to balance that which is not preferred as often as you can. Feed the hungry, clothe those who have no warmth, shelter those who have no shelter, give encouragement to those who are lost and lonely, and love, love, love everyone especially yourselves. This is all for now. We hope that you can receive the true message, which is coming on the carrier wave of the words that have been spoken energetically, which are now upgrading and rewiring your systems to allow you to make this happen. And again, you do make it happen, and we thank you for that. Because of you, we exist. Thank you, future ancestors. We are another you in Lakesh.